Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you get back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
Hey there, dance studio owners. Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. It's Clint here, and I'm super pumped that you're joining us for today's episode. Now, today's guest is Sarah Cordiner. A rags to riches story. Anything is possible. Just get off your behind and make it happen. Educational entrepreneur. I love that so much, so much. Now, Sarah first started in business in the UK. Guys, she does have an accent, so beware. When she was 19 years old, with zero business training, $17 in her bank, no support from her loved ones, and a passion that could move planets. I'm super pumped to bring Sarah with you. Now, I found a Udemy course that Sarah had put together, loved her energy, loved her story, and thought that it would really resonate with a lot of you guys, a lot of studio owners who have been passionate, who have come from maybe an upbringing that wasn't amazing, that didn't have a lot of money. You've been thrown into your studio, you love what you do, and you're looking to just work smarter, really step into that role of being the CEO of your dance studio. So, Sarah, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Massive thanks for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here. It's taken us a while to get this together. We're both very busy people, so I'm really excited that we've made it, because I have some very cool tips to share with you guys today about how you can really start to level up that studio of yours, get more students coming in, get more exposure for your business, and hopefully even transform some of what you're currently doing in person and get some of it online so you can start reaching a global marketplace as well.
Yeah, awesome. That's super interesting, and we're going to touch on all of those things. Sarah, tell us a little bit about, just so we can have a bit of background, what is it that you do now inside of your business?
Yeah, so I help people, I help professionals, experts, business owners, authors, speakers turn their content or what they do into online courses. So I've been in the education space now for well over 10 years. I've just had my 11th year in business. I've survived. And
congratulations.
Thank you. So as an education professional and somewhat of a veteran in entrepreneurship and business, I've now coined this term edupreneurship. And what I mean by that is educating your market profitably. So I help people do that by turning what they do into an online course. And this is one of the key things is that I like to say to people is, those of you who are educating, and particularly guys, that's you, dance studio owners, you are teaching pretty much every single day. But we need to start learning how we can do this in a profitable manner. And it's almost become now, we've got to this place in business where there's almost like this taboo if you start focusing on finances. Like people are like, oh my God, you're so shallow if you focus on money. You're so narrow-minded if it's all about cash. Well, guys, quite frankly, that's bullshit. This is a business, not a hobby. And if you're not focusing on your bottom line, if you're not making a profit, you do only have a hobby. So one of the things I want to say to you is we need to get comfortable about talking about money and talking about having a profitable business, because that's what's going to pay your bills. But what is also important as educators is that we earn our money in a way that makes a difference to people, that leaves people better than we found them.
I love that. I love it so much. And so much along the same lines as what we teach here at the association. We say we're definitely not a charity. You are running a business. Now, Sarah, for those people that might be kind of nodding their heads going, oh my God, that's me. I always say, oh, but I'm not a business owner. I'm a creative and I just do this for fun, or I'm doing it for the kids. I mean, how can we, because I think that's all fear-based, how can we start turning that mindset around so that we are making money, but we're also delivering an amazing service?
Absolutely. And this, guys, is something that we all have in common, is every single business owner and entrepreneur you meet, whether they are right at the very beginning of their journey or whether they're up there with 9-figure businesses, is that we all started somewhere once. And usually the most successful people all started just like you and I did, with nothing more than a dream and a penny in our back pocket.
Yeah.
So first of all, just be aware of the fact that, sorry, I just pulled my microphone out. No, be aware of the fact that we are all on a similar journey, albeit at different parts. So don't compare your year 1 to somebody else's year 10, because that's when you start going, oh, I can't do this. I can't make a profitable business. Someone else is doing it bigger and better than me. What we need to do is understand that what we do, what our skills are, what our knowledge base is, what our talents are skills, knowledge, and talents that other people don't yet have and want to have. And as a result of that, actually want to pay you for it. There are 7.2 billion people on planet Earth, so I can guarantee you there are plenty that will want to learn the skills and the talents that you have and will very much pay you. So all you have to do is understand that, first of all, and then make sure that you stop giving away the freebies. So how can you basically create what I call a menu of services? So look at the services you have on offer at the moment. Do you do one-on-one classes? Do you do like package purchases? Do you have certain terms that people can buy? How many different types of dance do you teach? Can you create a really clear menu of that and encourage people to do the bulk buying? I know a lot of successful studio owners do that, where you can either pay a set fee for like an hourly lesson, or you get a discount on that hourly rate if you buy 5 or 10 or 20 sessions in one go, which is great. So this is how you're starting to monetize that. But also what you can do when we're thinking about profitizing our skill and profitizing our talents is to think about how many different ways can I profitize this. So obviously there's the way that you're probably, most of you listening are doing this at the moment, which is literally exchanging your time for money or your staff's time for money by doing physical training sessions or physical dance lessons, which is great. But what this does, guys, is it actually puts a limit on how much money you can be earning, because there are only so many hours in a day and there are only so many bodies that you can fit in your studio at any one time, which means that your income is actually capped and you are never going to be able to earn more than a certain amount. So when I say how many other ways can you share your skills with people that is going to earn you money? Now, this could be for you guys online courses, which obviously is my passion and my area of expertise, because the second you get to a place where you are delivering your service that's still just the same value, but without actually having to physically give any kind of resource such as time or space or stuff, you're making 100% profit every time. And this is how your business starts to scale and grow, along with the impact you're leaving on planet Earth and, of course, the numbers in your bank account.
I love it. Look, and this is an interesting concept that's come up a couple of times. I'd love to dive a bit deeper, because I know a lot of our studio owners, Sarah, are probably thinking, we do classes, group classes, where people come to us and they've got a teacher and they're teaching a room of 10 to 30 students. I mean, we don't want to get rid of that, but how can we maybe start venturing online? Or is it an add-on? Or, is it a VIP kind of option? Like, how can we start exploring this online world in such an offline space?
Absolutely. Now, we can teach any skill online. It's possible to teach any skill whatsoever. And dance studio owners, you are absolutely perfect for having online courses, because I can watch a Beyonce video, right? And I'm watching her do her dance and I'm like, oh my God, chin on the floor. I don't know about the rest of you, but dribbling. I wish I could do that. Like, I want to be that. I want to do that. But does anyone here over in sleepy old quiet Perth offer anything like that? No, they don't. So what happens? Fat old Sarah over here is still sat on my sofa without any of these dance classes to go to. Would it be worth a studio owner opening a studio here? Probably not, because there probably aren't many Sarahs that want to come to Beyonce classes every week, right? So who can monetize from this? People who are listening, if you teach Beyonce dances, this is what you should do, because you've got your first customer right here, is all you simply need to do is break down how you would normally teach that face to face. So, you know, I've been to various different dance classes in the past myself. So, you know, step or move 1 is like this. You do this first. Step 2 is do this. Step 3 is do that. Step 4 is do that. So the way you teach a skill is to first of all demonstrate it in normal time. So you're going to go bam, bam, bam. Here's Beyonce's first move. Okay, so now I see what the finished product looks like. The second step is you then break that down and demonstrate it slowly. Then you demonstrate it slowly whilst explaining what you're doing. Then you get your students to imitate you, to actually do what you just did in the broken down steps. You get them to imitate that multiple times until they've got it without your coaching. And then finally, you start allowing them to do that in full time. So you can simply do this as an online course, guys, by taking a camera, making sure you're in a well-lit place, and just with the camera there, take them through each maneuver one by one, and then do that in order. This is the great thing about an online course, right? Because if I'm slower to learn this than the girl next to me, guess what? I can take as many times as I like to re-watch that video and get that move right over and over and over again from the comfort of my lounge room without feeling stupid for holding everyone else up. So this is another reason why I'm more likely to do an online dance class than come to a studio, because I'm slow at picking this stuff up. And then obviously at the end of that module, which is the whole of that step put together, you've then got the music with you doing the fast time, normal time maneuver of that dance that in my lounge room I can now follow along and copy with, feeling very, very awesome about myself. So it's not very hard to do. It's what you do already, but you're simply changing the way that you teach that so that someone can independently follow you.
Yeah, sure. And then if we put this together, I mean, who are we marketing it to? Our existing students and parents? Are we marketing it to everyone? Because, you know, there are a few online platforms that are coming out now where we can learn dance online. So how do we get clear on who our audience is?
Yeah, okay. So obviously the first place you want to start is the audience that know you. Anyone who knows you and likes you already are in the region of 60% more likely to buy from you than anyone else. So even if I'm attending your studio face to face, the chances are if you offer me, let's pretend your online dance version is $150. I'm just making this number up. If I'm still one of your students, I am going to want to buy that online version because it means I can practice at home. So if your online course teaches dance moves or songs or anything that is part of an exam, or maybe it's part of a performance that's coming up, if I've got the online version to work through, all I have to do is pay you an extra $100, so I get $50 off because I'm already a student. I'm going to be able to have that course to practice at any time. If I can't make a face-to-face session, winner for you as a studio owner, because you still get paid even if I don't turn up. But secondly, I can still go away and practice it on a time outside of class time. So that's really, really cool. So always start with your existing audience, because I reckon you'll make sales just purely because people are already there and already love your content. But let me tell you a story. Guys, when I turned my face-to-face training into online learning, my face-to-face training at the time was only being delivered in Australia. Now, I was doing extremely well out of that. I had a 7-figure business out of that regardless, but it doesn't matter what your starting figure is. When I turned my content online, what it did was meant that I opened up my course to a global market. I went from having a few hundred students at a time to right now while I'm talking to you, I have 6,000 students from 121 countries currently learning with me. In this financial year, I increased my revenue by 1,900% purely by having my courses online. And by the way, over 90% of my income actually came from outside of Australia, where I'm based. So before I had online courses, I was missing out on over 90% of my potential income. That is huge. So what I'm saying, if you are not marketing and selling or simply letting people from outside of your dance studio have access to your dance classes, you're missing out, because, you know, why not have people from all over the world learning from you?
Yeah, totally. I love it. Sarah, from a technical perspective, because a lot of people are probably thinking, this sounds really good, but how do we what do we use? Is it a membership site? How do we put it online? How do we get people to access the stuff?
Right. So the cool thing about this, guys, is this is a lot easier than you might think at first. At first, you're thinking, oh my God, I've got to set up complex websites with all these subscription backends, blah, blah, blah. Now, a couple of years ago, yes, that pretty much was the only option you could use. But now it is so simple for you to create an online course. I'm telling you, if you can attach an attachment to an email, you can have your own online school set up in no time. So there are a number of different ways that you can do this. Now, there are what are called sort of self-hosted or hosted platforms. These are platforms, online learning management systems that other companies have built, but are completely white labeled, meaning you can make it your www.yourdancestudioname.com, and you can then log into this platform that you've put your branding, your name, your website URL onto. And all of your online courses are there. It connects directly to your PayPal or your Stripe or whatever payment gateway you use. So people can just literally find you, click on your course, pay you through PayPal while you're asleep. You don't even need to be there to send anyone an invoice, and they can then start accessing your course at any time. So platforms like that, I would say, are the absolute best if you're starting out here. They are so easy to use. When I say so easy, you go create an account, you press the big green button that says create a course, you type in lecture 1, which is called Dance Maneuver 1, Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4. You press the Attach a File button and you simply upload your video. How did you film your video? Your mobile phone. Now, if you haven't got high-tech equipment, if you haven't got high-end digital video cameras, don't worry, guys, start with your mobile phone. The point is, someone is searching for dance lessons in your particular niche of dance because they want to learn the steps. They didn't type in, I want the perfect Hollywood production for learning how to do Beyonce's dance move. No, they will honestly, as long as the content is there, they can see the steps clearly, they can hear your instructions on the video, and they can press play and pause whenever they want. You have the perfect content for a course. In the meantime, you're showing and demonstrating your credibility as a dance teacher or a dance studio in that area. If they happen to be local, you might actually start getting students by default because they've got to experience your training. They're going to start following you on social media. They're going to start liking your YouTube channel and following every single video that you do, meaning the next time you post a video, it might go viral. That video that you posted next time might be your dance troupe promoting one of their shows that are coming up. So all of these things now start to fall together. So anyway, I'm going off here. One of those types of platforms, there are lots of them out there. I always say to people, go and do the free trials of them all and decide which one you prefer the feeling of. They are all very, very similar these days. A couple of years ago, there were good ones and bad ones, but these days they all seem to be like, as if one gets a sexy new feature, all of the other ones will as well very quickly. But my personal favorite is one called Thinkific, Thinkific, Thinkific. They are very well priced. They are super easy to use. They have the best customer service. So highly recommend them. Then there are online course marketplaces. Now, marketplaces are different to online learning platforms, and I say to people you should have your courses on both. So let me explain what a marketplace is. A marketplace is a bit like a supermarket, right? Let's pretend your course is bread. You want to get your bread on that supermarket shelf. Why? Because the supermarket's doing loads of advertising and marketing, and they're getting traffic walking through there every single day, which means your bread might make sales purely because people are walking past it and see your bread, right? So a marketplace, an equivalent of that in the online course world, one of them is called Udemy, Udemy. Now, this is probably one of the largest online course marketplaces out there. They have over 11 million students. So what happens with Udemy is because they act like a supermarket, they're in charge of how much your course is sold for. Your course does get sold for very, very cheap on there. However, they're giving you 11 million sets of eyeballs to look at your stuff. So what I say to people is choose an online learning system like Thinkific to put your big courses, and just extract a taster of that and put it on Udemy. Because what happens is if that first module, let's say the first module is just the first half of the dance moves for a particular song, right? Then People are like, whoa, that was amazing. I've learned how to dance like Beyonce to half of her song. But now I want to finish the song. And the end of your Udemy courses, and if you like this and you want to learn the other half of the song, pop on over to my Thinkific school, which is yourdomain.com, and learn the rest of the song. Well, obviously I'm going to buy it because I've just learned half of the song. That's a really great way for you to get lots and lots of leads. And the reason why I like this method is a lot of people go to me, Sarah, why would I put my course on Udemy when Udemy sell my course for like $5? And I'm like, well, why would you do a Facebook advert that costs you $50 to maybe not get a sale? I'd rather put my course on Udemy and get paid $5 for people to see my stuff, see my credibility, learn something from me, and then on top of that, possibly become a lead to my higher stuff as well. It's like paid marketing.
And is that because I know you've got a lot of courses on Udemy, Sarah, is that how you used it with your business? People are funneling, they're like free leads essentially, and then they funnel through? Yeah,
so but the leads that I get paid for, that's the best way that I see it. So if you use Udemy as a learning management system, you'll be disappointed with how it works because obviously they take so much of a cut from your course that you don't get a huge amount of money in your pocket. So I just see it as like an advertising platform. I see it as a way to give my students loads of great value and then upsell them to my bigger courses, which are then hosted on an LMS, which you own. So on the LMS, like Thinkific, you actually own your students, you own everything about the whole platform, how much you sell your courses for, and so on. So you ultimately want to take them there. And obviously, if you then have, depending on what kind of dance school that you're running, you want all of your online courses to obviously be promoting your actual physical school as well. Because if you've got local people that might want to come and become physical students of yours as a result of having been on the online training, I can certainly say that there's a lot of people out there that are not very confident, that might be new to dance, that don't really know what they're doing and would feel very intimidated about coming to a studio where they feel like they're going to look silly and make a prat of themselves. Whereas if I've done your online course and I've learned all of the basic maneuvers and the absolute fundamentals of the majority of steps I might use in your style of dance, well then I'm going to feel far more confident about coming along to your studio because I'm going to be like that. Yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing now. I'm going to be all right. I'm not going to look like a Wally. I'm up for this.
Yeah, I love it. Look, so much great stuff for our studio owners to think about when it comes to online. Sarah, the other thing I want to talk to you about is standing out, because you've done a great job with your business in standing out from the pack when everyone else is doing what you're doing. It's very similar for our studio owners, and we talk about it a lot on the podcast, but I really like to get different perspectives on it. And that's really about how do you stand out when everyone's selling jazz classes for 6-year-olds? How are you going to make it so that you're the place that people come?
Yeah, and this as the online world increases, this is something that all business owners in every industry face. Every 5 minutes, there's a new competitor popping up. I certainly have competition, and I even have my competition who copy some of my stuff word for word. So how do we cope with this? And guys, I think the biggest thing to understand is the mindset side of this is that all people are different and all people are attracted or repelled by different types of people. I could give my competitors my actual scripts for all of my videos. I can give them my content. I can tell them to copy me word for word and even wear my clothes and put a wig on to look like me, right? But the point is, even if we stood side by side and presented the identical presentation in the same way, there will be some people in that audience who will hate me and love the other guy, or vice versa. And that's purely because we are different. We speak differently, we act differently, we have different personalities, and just purely as a result of our humanity, people are going to be attracted to us or not attracted to us. So first of all, understand that competition is healthy for a couple of reasons. One, because you don't want all the customers out there, because some of them are not going to gel with you, and that's when you get nightmare customers. Secondly, because your competition forces you to keep getting better, to keep being different. One of the things I'd say to you is never, ever, ever bring your pricing down to be less than your competitors. Never try to beat people that way, because all you're doing is devaluing your services. What you actually want to do is look at what your competitors are doing. And I do this with online courses. Look at their courses and go, how can mine be better? How can mine be a more exciting experience? How can mine deliver better results? How can make mine be easier to learn from? How can I make my system give them stuff that's going to change their life forever? And then increase your price. And believe me, this method works because there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, price actually psychologically influences somebody's mindset about how high quality your content or your dance classes are actually going to be. If they see a class for $100 an hour and another class for $200 an hour, I know these aren't real prices, but which one do they think is going to be better? Probably the $200 an hour one. And the reason why is because we do associate price with money. That's crazy. But obviously you've got to make sure you deliver that equivalent worth of value. So when you're looking at your competitor's jazz class for 6-year-olds, what do they do? What do they deliver? What do the 6-year-olds walk away from doing and getting? What kind of experiences do they have? How do they feel about themselves as a result of being on that program? And how can you do that better? How can you give them more? How can you make all of them want to go back and tell their whole entire class of 6-year-olds that they should come to your dance school as well, and increase your price because you're increasing the value and the output that you're giving. The other thing is, going back to the fact that we're all different, is you are a person. And all of your students are people too. And one of the mistakes I made in business when I first started out was having this mentality that we need to act like a corporate business, right? There was this kind of weird mentality, and I did this. I set up the info@.com, the admin@.com email address, right? Who the friggin' hell wants to talk to the info@ person? Like, no, they want to talk to Sarah. They're people. Who wants to talk to the admin email inbox? No, I freaking don't. I want to talk to Clint, for God's sake. So remember that you're a person. Now, what I did is I started trying to go like, let's create this nice corporate logo and the big corporate website, and every video I do, I need to look like a commentator from some newsreader. I need to make sure that every Facebook post I do is really very serious and very professional. Fuck professional. Yes, I just did the F-bomb on a podcast. Why? Because I'm a person, and if I'm down the pub having a drink with you, or you're around my house sitting in the hot tub, or whatever we're doing, that's how I'm going to speak to you. This is how I'm going to talk, right? So be completely congruent with who you are yourself. Now, this is the question I want to ask you. If I came in your dance studio and I became friends with you, how would you talk to me? That is how I want you to talk when you're doing YouTube videos from your phone. This is how I want you to talk about your day on your social media. Your social media page, whether that's your business page, your professional page, your personal page, needs to be who you are. I want to know who Clint is, because guess what? It's Clint who I'm giving my money. It's Clint who I want to do business with. It's Clint that's going to make me feel confident or sexy or like an amazing dancer or healthier. It's Clint, not who's at something address, and certainly not his professional, boring old posts on Facebook. So be you, because that is the only thing that you can possibly ever have in business that's unique. That is the only thing that people can never, ever copy or replicate, even if they have the same script and same dance maneuvers and same freaking damn song and costumes as you. It's the only thing they can't copy. So that's probably the biggest one I can say to you. Your personality is your brand. Your dance studio is an extension of you, and you need to completely embrace that, because that is what makes you unique.
Wow, I love it. And I know that our studio owners listening are going to be resonating so much with this. And for some of them, I think they'll go like, yeah, this is the kick up the butt that I needed. So thank you. I really appreciate you being so direct and honest, because it's important for our studio owners to hear that. I know we're kind of running out of time, Sarah, but I'd love to ask you really about, you talked before about attracting students. And this is something that our studio owners need to do, I believe, around the clock. 365 days a year, they need to be attracting students into their studio. So what tips do you have for our studio owners around bringing in students? Because they all know the newspaper doesn't work anymore. Guys, stop putting ads in the local newspaper. So what can we be doing to really connect with the parents and the students, potential parents and students, so that they, do come and try our classes?
Absolutely. Guys, this is a huge one. We all want more customers coming through the door. The best answer to that is for me to ask you a question. When you get on the train, what are people doing?
On their phones.
When you're walking through the street, what's everyone doing?
On their phones.
When you're sitting in the restaurant, what's everyone doing?
Eating or on their phones.
Guys, you have the number one highest converting marketing machine in your hand right now. I bet you're probably listening to this podcast on your phone.
I'm sure they are.
Every person you look at has this device in their hand, and you can get in their hand absolutely free of charge. This is where the first thing I want you guys to go and do, if you haven't done this already, go and create a YouTube channel. If anyone hasn't done this after a few days of listening to this podcast, I'm going to personally hunt you down and whack you with a wet fish. You need to have a YouTube channel, okay? Because it is the second largest search engine on planet Earth. And if you haven't got a Facebook page of some kind where you can share your YouTube videos, you are missing out on the third largest search engine in the world, which is where you don't even need to be marketing. People are just going to find your content. So you guys are perfect because you have visual content. And this now, visual content and videos are currently, and this is statistically proven, are currently the highest converting pieces of marketing content you could possibly have. So you should have at least a good phone with a good camera on it. Or for Use Dance Studio, guys, I would recommend that you simply go down to JB Hi-Fi right now and go and invest in a decent camera with a stand. For a few $100, guys, you can get yourself a really nice digital camera that is going to give you good quality video. Now, this is what would sell me, right, on coming to your dance studio. Let's you probably have a group coming in, for their lessons. Wait till you've got a group that have got to a stage where they're, synchronistically performing a nice dance together, or whatever your niche is, and film just a small part of that, and just simply put, today's Samba troupe or today's ballet group, whatever it is, and just simply pop a sample up. Make sure obviously you get photo release forms from your students, because when people can see the results of things with you, that's what they're going to fall in love with. When people watch dance, they go, I want to do that. I want to know how to do that. That's amazing. That's beautiful. That's stunning. So first of all, put up samples of your actual real students. When people can see the results and what experience it's like to be in your studio, it's going to make them far more likely to turn up and knock on the door. Secondly is you can also very strategically market with your video as well. So what you can do is you can show an amazing dance, so that like the completed version, the finished product. And before that video finishes, go, oh, hey guys, before you go, how about I teach you one of the moves? So then just tag on you teaching just a couple of minutes, one of the moves, and then go. And if you'd like to learn the moves to this whole entire song, click on the link below. Now in your description on your YouTube video, you then put a link to your online course, et voila, you start making lots of sales. So this is one of the ways that I get lots of students, lots of sales, and lots of leads from my online courses, because the question that people type into Google and YouTube is, how do I? Or like, what kind of dance niche are you in? So I'm going to carry on with the Beyonce example just for the sake of coming up here. If I typed in, Beyonce something dance, and your video is actually called the How to Something Beyonce Dance by XYZ Dance Studio, your video is going to come up in my search results. So I don't even have to know who you are or know what your studio is called, because I've typed in how to do this type of dance or how to dance like this type of person. Guess what? I'm going to find you by default. And if you're in your description, it has how I can get in contact with you or buy your online course. You're going to make sales without even having to do anything. And what is also secondly cool about this is by having online videos, this is now where you can start to get the public to do your marketing for you without you having to pay them. Because if you pop these videos up on YouTube and then put the YouTube videos over on Facebook, people are going to start sharing your video. If they're like, wow, that's cool, that's a wicked dance, everyone check this out, you're going to get massive shareability going on too.
I love it. Tell me your last tip.
Last tip is, you mentioned at the beginning of this question, Clint, how important it is to be doing this 24/7. I think that is the biggest tip that I can leave with here. Is a lot of dance owners go, not just dance owners, but business owners go, I want an immediate return. I want, immediate returns on my investment. I want to grow right now. You have to be constantly building a targeted audience. So make sure you are not necessarily focusing on paid advertising, because paid advertising is only short term. It pays for eyeballs. If you've got a cohort starting or a term starting, then yeah, adverts are really good for that, because you need to get lots of eyeballs on your ad in one go. However, to really sustainably build a business that's successful, you need to build an audience that is targeted towards your particular thing. So who are your target audience? So let's pretend that you do the Beyonce style dance classes, right? Now, they're going to be probably females. They're going to be a certain age. They are going to have certain interests, so my interests might be, I like pop type of music. I probably work in the following types of professions. I probably like the following animals. What other pages might I like? Maybe I like these other pop stars as well. So try and think about what my personality is. Think of like your ideal student and actually describe her. Look at what she's wearing. What shops does she shop in? What brands does she buy? Because then what you can do is you can start using the advanced search features in all of the social media platforms to find more of her. So all you have to do, for example, here's one example of this. Let's pretend we're going for this Beyonce type, right? She's on Twitter. Now you can get a tool, it's completely free, called TweetDeck. TWEET TweetDeck. It's totally free. You connect your Twitter account to it. Now, once you've listed down all these things, so let's say Sarah likes hashtag Dolce & Gabbana, hashtag I don't know, freaking chihuahuas, hashtag, whatever you've decided you've come up with is your target audience. What kind of hashtags is she going to use? When you type those hashtags in on TweetDeck, what it will do is pull up a live stream of all of the tweets on freaking Twitterland that have that word in it. And guess what you can do is sit there and go like, connect, follow. And eventually what you'll have are thousands of followers who are people that are potentially your target audience. So when you post that YouTube video of your amazing teen dancing, or you post the first video of your online course on how they can learn the X dance, click here for them to join the full course and pay you monies, that's going to go out to thousands of your target audience and not just thousands of people who don't give a crap. So this is how you can use this method across all social media platforms. It works exactly the same way on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Yes, your students could be on LinkedIn too. People who like dancing have jobs. And build over time, very, very slowly, a targeted audience. Like I'm now at a place where I only have to do one LinkedIn post and it goes out to nearly 15,000 of my target audience completely free of charge, because I've invested the time to slowly build that up.
Wow. So powerful. So much gold. Sarah, I could talk to you for hours and hours. We may have to get you back for another round, because there's a lot more I wanted to ask you that we didn't get time for today. Sarah, if our studio owners want to learn more about you, where can they head?
Sure, guys. If you want to learn how to turn your dance studio classes into online courses, please come to sarahcordiner.com. And I also have an online Facebook group completely free of charge. It's called Entrepreneur to Edupreneur. Come along and join that. I'm giving tips every day about how to turn what you do into an online course, as well as tips about platforms and filming and all kinds of other stuff. Also, Clint, I'll give you a link, because I'd love to give all of your listeners a special discount on my courses. So I have an online course on how to create your own online courses. And I also have another one, which I think a lot of people here will be interested in, which is all about how to market and sell and promote your online courses as well. So I'll give you guys a big discount in the show notes to click through and get that discount to those courses.
You are amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. It was so great to chat with you. And guys, make sure you check out what Sarah's up to, because as you can tell from our interview today, there is a lot of things that she knows and a lot of ways that she can help you.
Love it. And if any of you do that online Beyonce class, hit me up. You've got a customer.
There you go, Sarah, your first customer with that Beyonce class. Thanks so much, Sarah. We look forward to seeing that footage of you doing that class as well.
You're going to regret that. It'll come.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Clint. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.